he would step across the line. Habitually. He's a habitual line stepper.
Yo.
What up, man?
What's good, man? How you doing, bro?
Thank you all so much for joining us on the Habitual Line Steppers podcast. I'm Garrett Langley Henson.
And I am Terry Ricardo DeShazo. Let's get it. Oh, the second. Oh, can't fuck that up.
Can't forget
the deuce. The Social Security. They're coming for me. Hell yeah.
Before you know it, Apple's got a new iPhone 2.0 version 2. Whatever, always coming out. And we got NBA version 2.0 coming out right after this bubble. Only a month and a half, 2 months in between.
71 days since the championship game, bro.
Is this a new season or is it just an update?
Dude, it's a new season for the teams that didn't make the playoffs. It's a new season for, like, the teams that got knocked out early. But this is almost
the Hawks haven't played a game since March 13th.
Yeah, there you go. And I think I'm going to boycott and say they shouldn't play any more games until next March. How about that?
Not until
Ever cool with that?
We won't play again until JJ Redick dunks again in an NBA game, and then they'll let us come back out.
That'll never happen.
All right, well, we have a tremendous show for you both today. We're going to be previewing the NBA season that's upcoming starting today. We're going to start off with the Eastern Conference this evening, and we're going to kind of give our projections and preview for what we think is going to happen. We're going to start with these teams. I'm going to list them in the order in which I think they're going to finish. So we're going to start with who I think is going to be the worst team in the league by regular season wins, just by the standings. Yeah. Just by the standings, guys. This is not who's going to win the championship. This is just who's going to finish in the regular season.
Just the regular season. All right, but first.
We're on 15-1.
First, where can you find all of our content before you start? What is the name of the website?
You can find out my brand new article on somebody else who also hasn't played in a long time, Kevin Durant, on our weekly spotlight at www.thehlspod.com. Got dab on them, just a quick. You can also find all of our videos on our YouTube channel if you just type in the Habitual Line Steppers, and we have our Instagram as well at HLSPod. Are you ready?
Is there a hyphen in between line steppers or not?
In the YouTube video, yeah. If you gotta type in line steppers, because the line stepper is the thing. It's a person. So we gotta hyphenate it. Like free throw.
I hear you.
All right.
Yes, sir. All right. Let's get started.
I'm sick of explaining grammar to you stupid motherfuckers. And honestly, if more of my friends stayed in school, this podcast would probably be more successful.
Oh, man. Hey, look, these motherfuckers, they keep hitting me up. They're just like, yo, I can't find it on YouTube. I'm like, yo, there's a hyphen, son, in between the line stepper. And they're like, what? I was like, yeah, I didn't know until like 5 weeks ago either.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
But now you know.
I tell you what, the Cavs probably didn't know that they were playing until about 5 weeks ago either, based on like who they've been drafting. They got the worst chemistry of any team in the league with Kevin Love and open revolt on the court, throwing passes 400 miles an hour at point guards. They're doing dribble handoffs with them. They're my pick to be the worst team in the Eastern Conference. This offseason, they drafted Isaac Okoro to be a defensive complement to Garland or Sexton, whoever they run out there. And they had a big name free agent acquisition, JaVale McGee, 4-time acting a full MVP.
That's a hell of a pickup right there. Hold on.
All right.
Hold the fuck on.
So take a second for jerking it and let me know your thoughts on the Cavs there.
Dude, the Cavs are fucking horrible. Your pick is probably spot on. It's going to be a fight between them and probably, I don't know, maybe like Pistons or Knicks. But I can see the Cavs sucking it. I also see Kevin Love getting his ass traded the hell up out of there. because he's pretty much the only useful player that they have on the team. So at the end of the day, I got nothing wrong with the Cavs being last. They're trash.
Yeah, horrible to watch. Number one thing I wrote down: Kevin Love hates his life.
He definitely does. You know, I think he's trying to fit out again. I think he's definitely trying to fit out of this Cavs team again.
I'm the first PJ out of Cleveland.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He's gone, bro. Go ahead.
If you think about it, he really got a raw deal because he got two different point guards that both of them are like the guy in pickup that like takes 12 out of the 15 shots himself. And you're just running up on the floor, getting rebounds, setting screens. And like after 40 minutes, you're like, what am I doing here? And you're like, oh, thank God this guy's putting his shoes on and we can get a fresh point guard out here. And then here comes Darius Garland.
Dude, they're in trouble, bro. They're really bad. They're gonna be bad probably for like the next, what do you think, like 5-6 years at least, like bare minimum. Well, I don't see anybody else coming to save them
until they luck their way into the next LeBron. I mean, they could be shitty for 35 years. Let's be honest here.
I mean, cause shit, they were bad from Mark Price until LeBron.
Yeah.
So that's like what, 15 years. So I can see another 15-year streak. Sorry to say, Cleveland, but y'all are done.
Well, you're welcome, Cleveland, because this will be the first time, or this will be the last time anyone talks about y'all in a while. So make sure you remember who did it here first, the Habitual Line Steppers podcast.
And if your key acquisition is JaVale McGee, you are going to suck. So, simple math.
You got to be the worst team in the league then. That's your pickup? This is the guy taking you to the next level, JaVale McGee?
First of all, like, why did he go to Cleveland of all the teams? Did they throw him a ridiculous amount of money?
I think he got more than the veteran minimum. The thing about JaVale McGee is, like, you could see when he was in the Lakers or Golden State, they're like, you have really good players around you. JaVale, are you looking at me? Just do this one thing. Block shots, run. When he gets to Cleveland, they're going to want him to be running the ball to the high post, switching on pick and rolls, taking pull-up jump shots. This is going to be so many tremendous Shaq and Fool moments. I really can't wait for it.
Yeah, I'm just glad Tristan Thompson's gone because it would have been like Shaq and All-Stars. Him and Tristan fucking dribbling the ball and shit.
You know how Tristan loves running the break himself for no reason. Even though
yeah. All right, it is what it is. We'll call whatever number he wears. We'll call him that number. It's all good. We won't call him by his name. None of that JaVale McGee shit around here. Who's next?
Your squad, the New York Knickerbockers.
Wow. Okay, you gonna do me dirty like that? Go ahead.
All right. This offseason, they switched the team up a little bit. They added Tom Thibodeau to coach the team. They added Obi Toppin in the draft. They also got Alec Burks. They got Nerlens Noel, Austin Rivers, and Omari Spellman. So let me get your thoughts on this new look. Exciting. Your New York Knicks.
Well, first of all, we're going to win the championship. That's always how we do it each year. We aim to win the championship and nothing else, nothing less. Second of all, this is actually – I'm just fucking around. This is probably one of the first steps of being, like, a little mediocre than usually, like, complete garbage. I think they're not going to be as bad as people think. Like, they didn't try to swing for the fences and get somebody big this year like they try to usually do in free agency. They just picked up dudes so that they can just, kind of skate through the season, try to get a good pick again, and then maybe next year try to get somebody big. But you haven't heard them talk about getting anybody crazy. They ain't talking stupid. No fans are actually saying that we're going to win a championship. Plus, we don't have to go to any of the games, so they can suck all they want. Who gives a fuck? We're good to go, baby.
I tell you what, Worldwide West did an amazing job of managing expectations when he first gets there. He gets there, everyone's like, we're going to get Kyrie. We're going to get, what's his face, Kevin Durant. It's like, no, we're going to get Nerlens Noel, and we're going to get Amari Spellman, and we're going to get Doc Rivers' son. Excuse me, Glenn Rivers' son.
Yeah. Don't call him Doc.
Don't you
Don't
call him Doc
disrespect.
now that he's in Philly.
No disrespect.
All right,
Yeah,
so here's my question for you, Terry, since you were like, I don't think people are going to be as bad. I don't think they're going to be as bad as people think they are. These are the guards on your team. Now, the guards are the guys that are going to have the basketball in their hands most of the time during the game, Terry. These are going to be your guards. Frankie Smokes, Dennis Smith Jr., Elfrid Payton, R.J. Barrett, and Austin Rivers. Good luck.
All right. I don't know. They can dribble? I don't know what to say. I mean, they're bad. They're going to be bad. Like, it is awful. What it is.
That's like far and away. It's got to be the worst guards in the NBA by some margin. There's not a single player on all their guards. Everyone sucks.
The interesting thing is you're going to see Austin Rivers like play like 37 minutes a game because Tom Thibodeau is going to run that motherfucker to the ground. He's going to be like –
R.J. Barrett, who's going to be coming off the bench. He's basically a 6'6" Austin Rivers.
Nah. If Thibodeau really wants to like keep his job, I don't know if he's just doing it for money. Like you have to play R.J. Barrett. You got to play the younger guys. You know what I'm saying? If there's no future right now. There's no future right now. It's not even a thing. There's no like right now for this year. Like they're not going to do shit. So just play the young dude and see what they got. Play with R.J. Barrett.
Sure. You summed it up perfectly. There is no right now.
No.
Knicks and next.
All right, so you got Cleveland 15, Knicks 14. Who's 13?
13, Detroit basketball. Shout out to my boy Michael Gatewood. They added Killian Hayes and 17 centers.
Yeah.
Their roster makes no sense whatsoever. This is just their front court. These are contributors. This isn't just on their roster. These are people who are going to actually play minutes. They got Blake Griffin. They got Jeremy Grant, Sekou Demboya, Sadiq Bey, Mason Plumlee, Jahlil Okafor, Josh Jackson, and Isaiah Stewart, who they drafted in the first round. That's 8 people playing 2 spots, power forward and center.
So the funny thing about all those names is like 2 of them can dribble the fucking basketball. The rest of them are garbage, like complete garbage.
Yeah.
You know you're going to be bad. Well, first off, we can go ahead and mark Blake Griffin as 30 games?
Traded.
Yeah.
Markham is traded.
We could probably either say that or he's going to get hurt easy. If you ever talk about condensing a season, you can go ahead and count Blake Griffin out. Anybody, like, who else gets hurt a lot?
No, count him in. He's in for the condensed season. He's like, hey, guys, 72. Let's condense it to 12.
No, but then those 12 will be in one day. And he's like, I just got hurt in the first game. I'm out. Nah. He never plays. Like, he always gets hurt. That's the shit that pisses me off about him. He's good, but he's going to get hurt. Like, mark it down.
He must have clipped the hood of that Kia.
Oh, yeah. And then, second of all, you got the delusional Jeremy Grant who said, my role wasn't big enough in Denver, so I'm going to pick my bags up and move to Detroit. Are you serious? You're not going to win any games. He's going to be a playmaker. How many points do you think Jeremy Grant is going to average this year? And we'll never talk about him again.
Oh, all right. Let me see. 17.
Ugh. If he averages more than 15, they're going to lose 60 games. Mark that.
Oh, they're going to lose. Oh, no, it's only 72 games this year. Wait a minute.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, if he scores more than 15, mark it down. 60 losses. Put that shit right in your notes. I see you looking right at your notes. Put it in there.
I'm going to put it out in Sharpie, Terry. I'm going to put it out in Sharpie. And other thing why they're not going to be good is they're giving the car keys to Killian Hayes, a rookie point guard. And he can't really shoot, and you're playing him with fucking 10 centers. Like, this is going to be no spacing, no feel, no chance to win basketball games.
Yeah, no, it's so you lost Luke Kennard, you lost a shooter. You lost – who else did they lose? They just gave up people and it got worse.
Right.
How can you, like,
Galloway?
I don't understand what they're doing this year. It is what it is, man. Let them do their thing.
I know what they're doing. They're doing the 2K shit, the Terry 2K move. where I'm going to play somebody at point guard who can't dribble and try to back this guy down like Mark Jackson all the way into the paint. Kevin Knox is going to try to pick on Isaiah Thomas.
You got to play with what you got, man. You got to do what you got to do, man.
Hey, got to play to win.
Honestly, yeah, you're right. If they even sniff 13th seed in the East, I'll be so surprised. I will bet $20 right now that they won't be higher than 14.
First of all, don't even feel comfortable saying 13th seed. Like, just say second to last. Like, they're not a seed in anything. They're not going anywhere, right? They're not being seeded in a goddamn thing.
Nah, hell no.
Yeah, all right,
Detroit sucks.
We're going to move on from Detroit.
Yeah.
Because everyone always does eventually and goes and lives in a real city. One of the places they might move on to is Chicago.
Hey.
Chicago, I got just above Detroit. They had Patrick Williams, Garrett Temple, and Devon Dotson, none of which are truly inspiring additions, in my opinion. They did replace Jim Boylan with Billy Donovan, who's an actual NBA head coach, so that should help a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to make the players take punch cards with them to work like they're Barney Rubble. This is why Zach LaVine can't stay on the court. He doesn't get an Uber home. He slides down the back of a brontosaurus tail.
Jesus Christ, dude! Keep going. Bulls are bad.
I thought you hit the Flintstone "It's done" horn, like it's a lunch break, and you just and you're like, "Well, thanks for talking about the Bulls."
They blow through a pterodactyl's asshole and make this fucking shit holler. Just
so I said, Wendell Carter, he didn't even shoot last year at all. Like, Jim Boylan wouldn't let him shoot. He didn't even look at the rim. He was like, my job here is to play like Al Horford at 45 and just set screens and get little handoffs and pass the ball when I'm right underneath the basket.
Uh-huh. So it was so bad. It was so bad last year that Wendell Carter just started talking shit about Mike Krzyzewski. He was like, fuck it. This NBA shit ain't working out. Let me talk shit about Mike Krzyzewski, like the top 3 basketball coaches of all time. Like, what the fuck?
They didn't pick up Markkanen's option, so he'll be a
weird.
Restricted free agent. And, the last thing I have written down here is the most succinct. Most boring team in the league.
The Bulls?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm not going to watch one fucking Bulls game. There's not a their team I want to see play basketball.
You're not going to watch Zach LaVine?
No.
No, not at all? You don't think he's exciting?
Are you serious? I don't want to watch Moon Bounce Randy Foye? Seriously?
Didn't he average like 26 last year or something like that?
Did he average more points than they had wins?
I think he might have.
Yeah, all right. That tells you all you need to know about Zach LaVine.
Hey, look, we know the Bulls aren't going anywhere. But, Zach LaVine can score some points. You said Larry Markkinen is going to be a free agent next year, right?
Yeah.
Or he's a free agent this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, they got Markkinen, they got LaVine, Wendell Carter's okay. Patrick Williams not exciting, but, he plays some defense at least. I don't know.
I don't
know.
Bro, it's the same thing, like, also with Kobe White and Zach LaVine together.
Oh, yeah.
Those are 2 guys that you're like, all right, these are probably the 2 best scorers on your team. They can't be on the court together. They can't ever be on the court. So you're not going to be good just because you have such a fundamental problem that your 2 best players can't be on the court together.
Yeah, this is true.
You're going to suck.
You know what's crazy? And we can move on after this. This is the 4th team that we're talking about. They keep saying that the East has gotten better. These 4 teams are probably one of the worst fucking basketball teams that you're going to watch, like, ever in basketball. This is bad. The East is really bad.
All of them are worse than the Timberwolves, who I think is going to be the worst team in the West.
That's crazy. The East is bad, man. We're not the East Coast.
Well, it's a good thing we ran out of those shitty teams so we could talk about real powerhouse next, and that's the Charlotte Hornets.
Oh, Charlotte, what up? Buzz City.
Yep. They're coached by the GOAT, James Borrego.
An actual goat.
Yep. For all of
Who is that guy?
our Latin X listeners that we have out there.
Yeah, right.
All right, go on Charlotte. What intrigues you?
LaMelo Ball. That's about it. But low key, let me tell you something. I did like the way Devontae Graham played last year. He actually was really exciting. And if you watched them in the preseason, they were playing fast, man, like really fast. Just at a lightning pace. I think they were averaging like 115 or something like that in the preseason. I mean, it's just preseason, but it's an exciting team to watch. They might not win a bunch of games, but they definitely want to just kind of pick the tempo up and play like a Phoenix Suns, old school Steve Nash type of thing. I don't know how many wins that's going to get you, but if you can't be better than the Bulls and like the Cavs and the Knicks, like if you win those games versus shitty teams, then your team, you might end up being, better than people think. But it's hard to say, man.
I'm with you for sure. They remind me of the Kings 2 years ago before Luke Walton took over when they had what's his name, who came over from Memphis.
Which guy? You talking about Rudy Gay?
No, I'm talking about their coach, the white guy.
Oh, the coach.
He's been on like three. That was his third job, and he got fired. He's been a good coach everywhere. He just pisses everyone off. Anyways, Dave Yeager. The Dave Yeager.
Yeah. Okay.
Fucking Fox's rookie year or whatever. They ran up and down the floor, and they won like 40 games, something like that, just because they paced stupid. So I could see this Hornets team doing that, and they're a team that moves the ball around a lot. They have a lot of players on their team that like came up not being the stars and are used to being role players, even in like college and stuff, which is kind of an indictment on how they've been drafting, but that's a whole separate topic.
Yeah, I mean, we know they draft bad.
But so they have a group of guys who's going to like let Gordon Hayward and LaMelo cook, and they're going to fill in the gaps and move the ball around. So I enjoy watching it. I like the 5-man unit of LaMelo Ball, Scary Terry, Bridges, Hayward, and PJ Washington. I think it's an interesting fivesome with a lot of spacing and a lot of skill. And then you have toughness on defense with Bridges and Scary Terry and PJ Washington. So I think they can surprise some folks this year. I really do.
Nah, I like them. And honestly, like, if you watched some of the games, like just early games or whatever, the way that LaMelo Ball plays, it kind of makes the other players pass. He kind of improved the way that they're like moving the ball and shit. He wasn't as selfish as I thought he was going to be,
No,
if he continues to be like that, I don't see why they can't, hit about 35 wins or so.
Oh, it's infectious, man. Like everyone's running the floor so much harder when you know you're going to get a pass right in your breadbasket.
Oh, definitely. He reminds me, like, just those couple games, he kind of reminded me of, like, old-ass Jason Kidd when he played with the Knicks.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking
Swear to God.
Pistol Pete and Jason Kidd had a baby. Then his name would not be LaMelo Ball. He would be way better than LaMelo Ball. He would probably be good on defense.
Probably. But, yeah, hey, look. We might be a little hometown bias, but I can see them being in that spot where they're going to be fun. 12, 11.
They're going to be competitive, unlike the teams that we mentioned before. They're going to be competitive on a nightly basis, and they're going to be fun to watch, and they're probably going to often blow it in the fourth quarter and shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's right where they should be. I'll say, the question mark, the biggest question mark on this whole roster, who's their backup center?
I don't know. You got Cody Zeller, right? And then
that's starting center.
I'm saying though, like that's what I was saying. I was saying you got him, and then I'm trying to think like who's going to be behind him. I don't know. They might have to just be small. They like we were saying, they just might play that quick ball shit.
Yeah, well, that's going to keep the pace high because their backup centers are Bismack Biyombo.
That's right, Bismack. They picked him up again.
He hasn't been good. He hasn't been good ever, but he's been especially shitty the last 4 years. And then the guy that they really shot for the moon on, the Blackie and his cancer, Vernon Carey.
Oh my God! Hey, he might be okay. Don't sleep.
Yeah, he might be okay for Fenerbahce in 3 years.
Hey, I'll put him in for about 6 rebounds a game. His per 48 is going to be disgusting.
Yeah, he's going to play point
guard.
No.
Hey, wait. We apologize for not talking about Gordon Hayward, but we don't give a fuck about Gordon Hayward. He wasn't doing much. I don't care what he does. He'll probably average 18 points a game. I don't give a shit. He better give me some leadership. And he better show me something because I'm out on him. What about you? I'm out on him.
Dude, I just don't care. Like, it's just like
exactly.
It's like my friend comes over to my house and then like we're hanging out and he's like, "Hey, do you mind if I use your bathroom?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Like, whatever, go for it. You don't have to ask. We don't need to talk about this." And that's how I feel about Gordon Hayward. We don't need to talk about this.
Yeah. Nah, I feel you. He's just a dude, man. And they paid him so much money. Everybody's just like, God.
Imagine how much different his career would have been if he had made that last-second buzzer beater against Duke.
Jesus Christ. Imagine how much different his career would be if he was black.
Oh, my God. He'd be on the cover of 2K.
Hell no. But, yeah, hey, Hornets at 11, right?
Hornets at 11. At 10, do you believe in magic?
Orlando.
Yeah. Right. We can't go back there for another 2 years, but other 29 NBA teams can.
You can't keep extending our ban like 15 years and then 20 years. Like,
this is a self-imposed ban now. This isn't even something that's coming from the top. This is coming internally from us because we're just better than this.
Oh, my God. Hey, you want to give them a quick overview, or are you just going to let that one go over?
Oh, yeah. Me and Terry jumped the fence to Universal Studios about 10 years ago and got Mickey Mouse copped up by the Universal Studios people. Actually, I'm going to continue saying the Mickey Mouse cops because they don't actually work for Disney, and that should probably piss them off. So we had a great time with the Mickey Mouse cops getting mugshots taken and everything.
Hey, man. You know what?
Pearly White's in his mugshot, like.
Look, we blew past the parking ticket thing. We didn't have to pay for a ticket to get in.
Didn't have to pay for parking to get out.
Yeah, we pressed our luck. I feel like we could have stopped it right there. But then we saw the ticket price of the fucking to get into Universal. It was like $80. We were like, yo, this is our last day here. We have no money. We're going to have to go for it, guys. And we got fucking caught.
We went for it. There was a undercover cop pushing empty baby carriage around. He was waiting on the other side of the wall for us. We jumped in. I was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's just this guy looking after his baby."
Yeah, right.
It was a bag of cornmeal with a bonnet on it.
It is what it is, man. We're not trespassing.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a great way to sum up the Orlando Magic. It is what it is.
We'll just go with that.
They were number 1 in the league last year in pick and rolls.
Yeah.
Does that surprise you? Because it surprises me.
Does that surprise you? Vucevic and Augustine? They were killing it last year. Vucevic was an all-star.
Yeah, no, Vucevic is good. I just didn't imagine the pick and roll. And it's not just Augustine. Like, Fultz, Fournier.
Oh, yeah. He's a beast.
Fultz is actually Anthony. But the thing is, they run all pick and roll. They don't really have shooters.
No, they don't.
So it doesn't make sense.
Weird. I don't know, man. Who's the coach? Do we know? I don't know who the coach
Steve Clifford.
Is it Steve Clifford?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess he said, fuck it, dude. Vucevic is my best player. You set a pick every fucking play, dude. Fuck it. I don't know what to do.
I have a lot of random notes of them. Obviously, they lack shooting, right?
Of course.
Jonathan Isaac is out for the year, which really hurts because I think he's their most valuable player. Vucevic might be the best, but Jonathan Isaac can guard 3 positions and hit a corner 3, and that shit is super valuable.
He gives a lot of energy, too.
Yeah. And athletically, he's a freak. He can stay with everybody. Like,
yeah. It's a big loss.
Yeah. So that hurts. And then every year, I feel like this is the year that we're like, is this the year that Eric Gordon takes the lead?
Nope.
I
Easy
feel
answer
like,
to that question.
yeah, I feel like at this point, he's just the I dunk from a drone guy.
Yep. That's the only thing he leaves. Dunk contest. That's it. And he doesn't want to do that shit anymore. And we're like, yo, please do it again. Like, what the fuck? You ain't going to do anything else.
I keep waiting for him to tap into this, like, Draymond Green type energy. Because that's what, like, you look at him, if he applied himself, he could be, like, a souped-up version of that.
Possibly.
At least
so
on
weird.
offense, as a guy who just, like, gets the ball, and then we push in transition, you know, taking advantage of his athleticism versus other fours. But he's always just been a dude who's, like, above average, good, even.
Yeah.
But with all the speed, freaking great.
Yeah, nah. In all actuality, like, he moves more fluid than I would say like a Blake Griffin. He's kind of similar size. He's a little smaller.
Yeah.
But I think his career should have been at least kind of like his.
Yeah.
I think the way that the NBA was going, though, like, he's not really a great shooter. But, like, the way the league was going, they were kind of forcing him to do shit that he didn't want to do. And it kind of fucked up, like, his post game. And it fucked up making aspects of his other sides of his games better. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of stunted him as a player. And he just kind of became, like, mediocre for – oh, bro. He 18 points, 20 points.
He should be getting, like, 10 points a game just off free throws.
Yeah.
Just off fucking free throws. He should be – if you had Russell Westbrook's mentality – from a power forward position, he should be living at the line, but he doesn't.
Yeah,
but he doesn't.
It is. I mean, this year, if they make the 10 seed, that's going to be a disappointment. But Fultz is actually a pretty good player, and Vucevic is pretty good. So I mean, we'll see what they can do. It's all about duos this year. You know what I'm saying? And their duo is not horrible, but it's hard to say. They're definitely might not make the playoffs, so they might. Who cares if they do it?
So who's their duo?
Fultz and Vucevic.
Fultz?
Who do you think it's going to be?
Fultz?
Who do you think it is? Fournier?
Oh, I'll tell you who it's going to be.
Fournier?
Yeah.
No,
you already know who it is, son.
Turn that shit off before we get.
That's who it's going to be. Bamba.
Get that shit out of here.
Bamba.
Boo.
Bamba. Bamba.
Hell
you don't think he's going to be their second star at playing the same position as Vucevic?
He's like the worst player on their fucking team. He sucks. He's turning into JaVale McGee real quick. He better get his shit together. I think he's
all the tools. He's this is like his third year in the league coming into it.
His feet just don't like they're not working with his body.
Well, you better wake up.
It's not working. It's over.
You better slide on over to the production studios where they shoot Space Jam 2. I hope they got a little bit of that secret stuff left.
Hey, that'd be lit. If they gave him some secret stuff,
Mo
Bamba on the juice.
Let me give him my ID.
Hey, look, in the words of Ariana Grande, thank you. Next.
All right. Well, I wish I could take that approach with this next team. We're my number 9 team in the East. Mm-hmm. So let me quick interjection, y'all. They switched up the playoff format this year. So 1 through 6 guaranteed in the playoffs. 7, 8, 9, and 10 go into a playoff game or series of playoffs games depending if 9 or 10 win. So only 1 through 6 are guaranteed to make the playoffs. So in these projections, Orlando would be in a position to play in the playoff game.
Yeah, they should be.
Other team on the 9th seed, along with them in the playoff game, is the Washington Wizards.
Oh.
Yep.
9 seed?
9th seed. A lot of people are then projecting them to finish a lot higher after their acquisition of Russell Westbrook this offseason. The logic, if you don't think about it, makes a little bit of sense. Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, between those guys, that's 55 points a night, guaranteed. Yep. So now all I need is 55 other points from the rest of my team, and we're at 110. The problem is the other team has 122. Because there's nobody on this roster who can guard.
Yeah.
With the exception of Gary Payton Jr. or Gary Payton III.
Gary Payton.
So who's the question? The question is, who's going to defend? The good news, Terry, when we're talking about defense of the Wizards, is that they were number 1 last year in charges drawn.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Number
What
1
a
in
waste.
charges drawn.
That's so
Bad
stupid.
news is that they were last at points at the rim.
Oh my God, dude.
And I don't see that getting better now that you added Russell Westbrook.
So basically you're saying you think they're not going to be great because they don't play any defense.
Yeah. They're going to be –
That's basically it.
They're going to be the exhibit Pimp My Ride version of the Charlotte Hornets, where they're going to put up a bunch of points, and what does it amount to?
Possibly. I mean, we'll see. I mean, those 2 guys alone should got to at least give me like the 6th seed. Like Russell Westbrook is an all-NBA player, and Bradley Beal's
I mean, you'll have an opportunity to say who they're better than them, but literally on their whole team, their best defender on their whole team is Rui Hachimura.
I mean, of like the guys that are going to play, of the rotation players,
I can't see you finishing that high when you've got no – and they just added the European dude who you hate, Denny Avdia, who's going to play heavy minutes for them. And he couldn't
That's the guy.
Midnight.
That's the guy we need to watch. Is he going to be good? Did you see him in preseason? I didn't even look at him, honestly. So many teams, I couldn't.
He looked like a skinnier version of Dario Saric, what he looked like to me.
Really? Can he shoot? If he can shoot, it'll be all right. He can't shoot?
He can't shoot.
Jesus Christ.
Not now. Maybe in a couple of years, but he can't shoot now.
So this whole time Golden State was just trying to put the wool over our eyes, huh? Remember when they were talking all that shit? They were like, yeah, no, Donnie Avdija, like, he was looking really good. We might take him.
Yeah, they were hoping somebody would be dumb enough to trade up to 2. Like, we can't let him follow the Bulls.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I disagree with the 9 seed spot. I will say, I think at least 6 at the bare minimum.
But make the case. Who's getting a stop on the whole roster?
You don't need to stop if you've beaten up on the worst teams in the East. Think of all those teams they can get wins on.
That's it. That's only 4 teams, though. Like, I don't think –
5 really bad teams.
Nah, I don't think –
Knicks, Cavs, Detroit. That's at least, 2 wins for each of those teams. Knicks, Cavs, Detroit. Then you got –
Listen, they're going to get waxed by the West, and they're going to get waxed by the top of the East. They're not finishing above the 8 seed. They're going to be in the
possibly
got to win 2 games to get into the playoffs.
But then you got to think about there's going to be at least 5 to 10 Russell Westbrook didn't allow his team to lose games, so you got to kind of factor that in.
And then there's 5 to 10 Russell Westbrook shot 8 threes in the 4th quarter, and we just coughed up a 4-point lead.
There will be those.
Yeah.
So you might be right, but even if they get in that spot, that's not going to be a team you want to see in the playoff seed in a 1-game playoff or is it
absolutely no 2-game? Well, no. I'm talking about if they fuck the play-in. I'm not analyzing play-in games.
I'm just saying, do you want to see Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal in a play-in game? I ain't trying to see neither one of them.
I want to see them on the defensive side of the court on a play. If I have the ball, absolutely. If those 2 guys are trying to guard us, yes.
Who's the center for them again?
Thomas Bryant.
He's okay. He's a decent defender.
He's not a good defender. He's below average.
We'll see. It's hard to say, man. I just disagree. That's all I can say.
All right. Well, we'll move on then to a team that was right below above him. I tell you what. One more side note on the Washington Wizards. These people that are expecting Robin Lopez to come in and revitalize the team and be Chicago Bulls Robin Lopez when they beat the Celtics in the playoffs. That dude, he's gone, along with Brook Lopez's offensive game in the post.
Yeah.
He doesn't exist anymore. Robin Lopez, the good NBA player.
Yeah, no, that's never
gone forever.
Also, don't forget, they got Scott Brooks. decent. He's a good NBA coach. I guess he's a good NBA coach. Scott Brooks is a good NBA coach.
He did a great job last year.
He didn't have a good team.
He doesn't have a good team this year. He doesn't have a good team this year.
At least he's got two players that are all right. Like, that's all I could. You got two All-NBA dudes. You should be able to do something.
All right.
Continue on.
They won't be both All-NBA in Washington. Hey, bet that. If there's a way to bet who's not going to make All-NBA, bet that. Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook ain't going to be in it. I promise.
Let me tell you something right now. I think Russell Westbrook is about to run crazy through the East. Mark my words. I'm telling you. Who's going to stop him? Who is going to stop him in the East, bro?
Markelle
Fultz. Get the fuck out of here. Don't ever talk about Markelle Fultz again.
You're starting Orlando Magic. Remember? Markelle Fultz. You're just singing his praises, right?
He can score. He can't play defense.
All right. Marcus Smart.
Please.
Chris Dunn. Fred VanVleet.
Chris Dunn, no way.
Kyle Lowry.
Fred VanVleet is not stopping him. Kyle Lowry's not stopping him either.
Fred VanVleet is – all right. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the playoffs.
He's a good defender, but he's too small. He's small, bro.
He's
minuscule.
He is small, but he's stocky, and he plays above his height.
All right, we'll see. We'll see.
I always like guys like that. All right. So Wizards at 8, just on the outside looking in as far as –
9.
Or 9, excuse me. At 8, I got the Indiana Pacers. Terry, tell me what you think the Pacers' biggest offseason addition was.
The Pacers' biggest offseason addition?
Yeah. What do you think was the biggest addition to their team? How'd they improve?
I can't name one single player that they picked up. That was good. Didn't they lose Oladipo, or are they about to lose him, or some shit next year?
All right. I got a follow-up question. I didn't expect you to get that one.
Who's
the coach of the Indiana Pacers?
Oh, it's over. Some fucking white guy. Who's the coach? Indiana loves the whites.
Nate Bjorkgren.
Oh my God, where'd he come from? Real Madrid?
He came from the Suns.
Ugh.
He was an assistant coach on the Suns during the last 3 years while they were one of the worst teams in the league.
And now he's the head coach?
And now he's the head coach. And they didn't add anybody. The reason – this is all a trick question, Terry. I'm sorry for setting you up. The reason that you couldn't name an addition is because they didn't have any. Across the board.
You go.
They didn't add a single player to their team, Terry.
They didn't add anybody?
No.
They didn't lose anybody?
No. They ran.
Oh, you know what? I know who they got. They got Cassius Stanley from Duke.
I'm not. He's not. He's a two-way guy. He's not even their opening night roster. I'm just saying.
That's an addition. That's it.
It's the addition of the guy who's not even on the roster.
Yeah.
The guy who's playing for the Indianapolis Bayhawks or whatever.
He can't shoot, bro. I don't think he'll ever make the league. But anyways, besides the point, Indiana, go ahead.
Still got him 8. They took a team with all these guys, and they finished top 6 last year. They did it the year before. They do it every freaking year. Mm-hmm. And they add Oladipo back into the mix.
Mm-hmm.
They have 2 legit big men in Sabonis and Turner. Even if the fit isn't always right, a solid, good winning player in Malcolm Brogdon, and a guy who can light it up with that what's his face, old dude from NC State,
T.J. Warren.
Yeah, T.J. Warren,
Mr. All Bubble.
Yeah, Mr. All Bubble. And so they did what they did last year, and that's with Oladipo on the shelf. So I don't think anyone's talking about them as winning the championship, but if Oladipo pops and they return that solid core. And another thing that's to be said is they have continuity in a really fucking weird year where all these teams are dealing with all this uncertainty and change and everything. At least the Pacers have something that they're familiar with that they can go back to and rely on.
So there's a couple of questions though. We know Sabonis is good. We know Miles Turner's going to, give you decent numbers. Not great at defending, but, there's not many great big men killing these dudes. Is Oladipo still going to be good? Is he going to be very good like he was a couple of years ago? A lot of injuries. That's the question. And 2, is TJ Warren going to be as good as he was a couple months ago? Who's to know? And is Malcolm Brogdon going to continue to be really good? If those 3 guys can be as good as they, like, you know, kind of where they were at their points of, like, their peak, Indiana can sneak up on a lot of people. And Sabonis was an all-star last year, I think.
He was. And Turner was all-star the year before.
Now, they have a decent team, and I think a lot of people are going to sleep on them, but I don't know. I can see them doing pretty well.
I'll tell you what. I hope this Nate Bjorkgren guy has been taking notes because apparently he did 1 year on the Raptors, too, the year they won the chip.
Oh, yeah. Huh. Okay.
On Nick Nurse. So hopefully he was a wet sponge soaking up Nick Nurse's teachings because I think Nick Nurse might be the best X's and O's coach in the league.
Okay, I was about to say, because if you're just the fucking assistant coach on Phoenix for the last couple of years and they sucked, and you get a head coaching job, we're going to have to start talking about some real changes in the NBA structure of how they hire coaches, bro. That's a little ridiculous.
They fired Nate McMillan, a 15-year NBA head coach, to do so, who took a roster full of a bunch of nobodies and made the playoffs and got a home playoff.
Yeah. Bro, they were the 4th seed.
Yeah.
And Oladipo was hurt like the whole year.
He should have got coach of the year.
That's ridiculous, man.
That's all right.
It is what it is.
You know where Nate McMillan is now, Terry?
Where's he at?
On the bench of our number 16, the Atlanta Hawks. Or 17, the Atlanta Hawks.
Atlanta.
Yeah, he's sitting right next to Coach Lloyd Pierce there. So
black on black. I like it.
And immediately, the first thing that happened, like 2 days after he got hired, they're like, Lloyd Pierce is on the hot seat. Nate McMillan is on the bench. They go fire him and promote Nate. We can't just have 2 black former head coaches. They're like, there can only be one.
I don't know why, for some reason, you were like, the first thing he did, and I was like, he went to Magic City. He immersed himself with the culture. Hawks fans were like, hell yeah, this is our guy. But no, make your case for Atlanta being 7, bro. They got a lot to prove.
Let me say that out the gate, RIP to Follies.
Yeah, true.
RIP to Follies. You will be missed. Club. You will be remembered.
It's a great gentleman's club. Shout out Carlos.
Yep. All right. So you want me to make my case for why they're going to be this high?
You got to make a case for the 7, bro.
Starting lineup.
And before we precedent this, everybody knows Garrett Langley is a huge Atlanta Hawks fan.
Yeah.
So this could be the biggest blunder of anyone's predictions all season.
This could be borderline blasphemy. But I'm hoping I should have saved him for like number 2 and been like, it's all going to click.
No.
But
let me tell you something right now. Son, you're no longer a fan. You are a talking head. You can't just be bullshitting. You better give me some hardcore facts on Atlanta. And I know you love them. Give me something good. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Tell that to Skip Bayless and Bill Simmons. I'll just start off by saying this, man. The 5-man lineup last year with all of our young players, with Trey, Kevin Huerter, Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter, and John Collins last year, and all its minutes, it was like +5 per game in the whole season. Now, every other lineup on our whole team was like minus a fucking billion. This is why we were the worst teams in the league. But those 5 guys played well against other teams. Now, to that core, we added this offseason. We added Rondo. We added Gallinari. We added Bogdan Bogdanovic. And we added Chris Dunn. All guys who are established veterans who help us in positions of need. Last year, anytime that Trey didn't have the ball in his hands, the offense was a disaster. Sharknado 4. Don't even watch it. We had Evan Turner as our backup point guard for the first 3 months of the season.
My name is Evan Turner. Evan Turner talks like this.
Kermit the Frog is now an assistant coach for somebody and is calling out Jake Paul to fight in the MMA games. He was our backup point guard last season. And now
Oh
we go
my
from
God.
him to Rajon Rondo.
That's
We
a good
go
pick.
we go from Jabari Parker to Danilo Gallinari.
That's a good one. I mean, you're right. Keep
And
going.
so Chris Dunn is a dude. Trae Young. So this is the biggest question about the Hawks. They can't play defense, or at least last year they couldn't. They were last in the
They're
league.
not going to be able to play defense with Trae Young and playing a lot of the minutes, bro.
He's gonna have to find a way to survive. Otherwise, they're not
Yeah.
gonna be good. Ultimately, if we're talking about really big picture stuff, that's what the success of the Hawks depend on. Trae Young and how committed he can be defensively. But in the meantime, we're going to surround you with Chris Dunn, who is one of the 3 best perimeter defenders in the whole league. Rondo, who's a super savvy guy, like team defenders wise, film study wise. Yeah, and when you think about our bench last year, our leading bench scorer was Vince Carter.
True that. And he's 42.
Right.
And he works for the fucking Turner Sports now, I think.
Exactly.
Or ESPN or
Playing this
something.
role now will be Danilo Gallinari. And I haven't even talked about Clint Capella, who didn't play a single game for us last season after he was traded to us. And I haven't talked about Onyeka Okongwu, 2-time Mr. Basketball.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think you're downplaying the Hawks at 7? You think they're going to be better and you're just like, I can't put them at like 5 or 4 because I don't know, it's too biased. You think they're going to be pretty good?
I think they're going to be just where I put them. And I think ultimately the thing that holds them back is going to be Trae. I think his
Defensively?
defense, see, my thing is like, I'm not you got to surround the superstar with a perfect mix of guys to take them to the promised land. I'm like, you want to be one of the best players of all time. Like, you got to find a way to elevate your game to the next level. And the way that Trae Young does that is not by surrounding him by X, Y, and Z. It's by taking more responsibility on defense, being more committed to studying film and tendencies, putting in more effort and not being afraid of contact on a defense.
You need to put more weight on, bro, honestly.
It's less about his weight. It's more about his mentality. But he does need to put weight on. But it's more about a pussy-ass mentality that on offense, you know, he's gliding past people with ease with his agility, but you can't use that same agility to keep people in front of you. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
And then the second thing he's got to do is not be this heliocentric, the whole everything basketball world revolves around me and the ball in my hands. And there are 4 guys standing around watching every single play. You got to find a way to relocate and be a credible threat off the ball. The stress that Trae running around screens, if he just does the JJ Redick shit or Klay Thompson or Steph, even if he doesn't relocate as well as those guys, if you just involve him in actions where at least one, he's the screener, right? He screens for a shooter, and then now he gets screened. That puts so much more stress on the defense than watching Trae ISO cross this dude up.
Do the James Harden thing.
Yeah.
All right. I think you make a compelling case. You got 2 good things, probably great things. You got 5 ball handlers this year, and you only had 1 last year. And you finally have a shot blocker. So those 2 things alone.
Shot blockers.
Who's the other? Oh, yeah, the dude from USC. That's right. The little kid. He's a good shot blocker, too. So those 2 things right there are key components to winning a lot of NBA games. Now I'm just giving you shit because you're a Hawks fan. And suck my dick forever. Always and forever. Like all the time. But I think they're going to be all right. 6 seed or something. Yeah. They're going to be decent.
I see them.
Like I said, don't get frustrated at Rajon Rondo when he's stinking it up in the regular season.
Oh, Terry, we put $1 million bonus in his contract if he makes the playoffs to ensure that we get at least 80% of playoff Rondo during the regular season.
Yeah,
so that's
so smart.
Is missing out.
That's smart. That's hella smart.
All right, this is my last note about the Hawks. It says my last note on here just says they lack dogs and strength. and that is still true. They don't.
Yeah.
They're going to get beat up by bigger wings like LeBron and Kawhi and guys like that. Giannis, DeAndre Hunter, and Cam Reddish are their only answers. Both of them are too young and too green. Hunter especially is like big enough, but doesn't have the foot speed really to hang with some of these dudes.
Yeah.
So that's still going to be an area where they can really get hurt, and that coincides with the area that all the best players in the league play. Kevin Durant, Jimmy Butler, LeBron James, Giannis, Kawhi Leonard. And if you can't deal with that, you're always going to have a hard time. So that's why I can't put them higher.
True that. All right.
Number six, I got playing down south in Tampa Bay, the Toronto Raptors.
Oh, Toronto is 6.
Yep. They got the best coach in the league as far as
they do.
They have an ascending star in Pascal Siakam.
Yeah.
They have a starting 5 that can play with anybody and has championship experience and self-belief.
So who are the guys that who's in for Gasol and Ibaka?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Terry. Stanley Johnson.
Don't like it. Don't like it.
I don't like it either.
Nope.
That is their backup 4. Stanley freaking Johnson.
Ooh. Who's the center?
My thing is, like, I think that their coaching is going to be so good that they're just going to find ways around this. They got, what's his face, that real athletic black dude. Wow, that just narrowed the NBA down.
Dominique Wilkins.
Chris Boucher.
Is that his name?
So they got Chris Boucher playing backup center.
Oh, Chris Boucher. Who's the starting center?
Oh, Aaron Baines. There you
go. Yeah.
There we are. Who he playing for?
He plays for the Raptors now, his stupid ass.
Oh, man. So, yeah. They got a good starting 5, and they all fit together well. But their front court depth is questionable. I feel like just by virtue of being such a smart team and such a well-coached team, that they're going to get the 6th seed. They're going to be better than the Hawks just by being smarter than them and being competitive. They're still going to be a top 10 defense.
Yeah.
Regardless of anything, they're going to be a top 10 defense. Just with having Van Vliet, Lowry, Siakam, and OG Anunoby, you're going to be fucking good on that end.
Nah, they're good. They definitely did drop defensively though by losing Ibaka and Gasol. Those are 2 really good,
hurts.
Down low defenders. Yeah, that'll hurt a lot.
That hurts a lot.
The factor that they don't get to play in Toronto and they have to play in Tampa Bay, I think is really going to affect them. Like they are a tough team. Like mentally, I think the guys at the top are tough. Like Kyle Lowry's tough, but I still think that'll hurt you. When everybody else is playing at home.
They're not going to be fans there anyway, so might as well try.
No, I know. I'm just saying, but like you don't get to be at home. Like everybody else gets to be at home. These guys are on a fucking hotel bed, or probably a nice ass Airbnb. These rich ass pieces of shits.
Yeah, they all got nice ass apartments down there. But if you remember when New Orleans, when Katrina happened, they had the Hornets go play in Oklahoma City for the rest of the year, and the city really took them. And Chris Paul actually said that was like one of the best times he had in his career was playing there in Oklahoma City before they had the Thunder.
I remember that, but that's hard to compare because Oklahoma are great fans, and plus Katrina happened, so you had something to play for. You know what I'm saying?
Thing is like, all right, you saw all these Tampa Bay guys get up to the Lightning and all this hockey shit. And in Tampa 2 years ago, they didn't give a fuck about hockey. So if y'all can jump on this hockey bandwagon so quick, then maybe you jump on this NBA joint. Now, this is the one chance for an NBA team to be in your city, Tampa, because they're not coming back. There's no team that's moving to Tampa in the future. This is your audition. So if you guys blow this, they'll go to fucking Louisville before they go to Tampa. Mark my words.
Hey man, they might win it, but so they like the Rays and the Bucks get good fans. not the Rays, the fucking Lightning and the Bucks. They get decent fans. The Rays, though? These motherfuckers went to the World Series, I think, like, either last year or like a year ago. They're always in the fucking playoffs, and they never go to those fucking games.
Isn't
If you
that
kick the Rays out? Nah. I think he owns the Marlins. He owns the Marlins.
Listen, this ain't a baseball podcast, man.
No, I'm just saying, like, if they don't show up for the Rays, they get rid of the Rays and then move into the NBA team.
If you want to talk about baseball, make your own website, www.imageriatricfuck.com. But for right now, we're doing a podcast with the habitual line steppers, homie.
Swap them out.
All right, I'm going to swap you right out and swap the Raptors out. Coming in number 5 is the Boston Celtics. They lost Gordon Hayward. Their big additions were Jeff Teague and Tristan Thompson.
Not good.
I'm not impressed with either one of those guys. I've watched it. People hold this image in their mind of Jeff Teague, like back in the Atlanta Hawks All-Star days, Jeff Teague.
Yeah, nah. He's not he ain't it anymore, man. Yeah.
I watched
it's done for him.
He was our backup after Evan Turner last year on the Hawks. And he didn't look much better than Evan Turner. So
yeah, he looks bad.
I wouldn't be encouraged. And Tristan Thompson hasn't played in a meaningful NBA game in 3-4 years.
It's been a minute, but I think he's still got a little bit in the tank, though. Like, Cleveland is horrible.
Yeah.
You know?
You
at least he has something.
How good he was there.
Yeah. You got something to play for, so I think he's going to be fine. I think he'll be fine.
He might be all right.
Plus, his game's not predicated on skill, you know? He's just a rebounder and a hustle guy. Like, he can do that. I think he'll be fine.
Well, that's another problem, right? Is when you look at teams at the end in the playoffs, you need to have multiple ways of beating people to keep advancing.
Mm-hmm.
They have nobody on their team who could score in the post besides Jason Tatum.
Yeah, true.
And that's going to be a big problem, I think, going forward. Because if you guys want to just sit out here and hit and shoot contested jump shots, then I think most teams are going to be very happy to allow them to do so.
That was their problem last year, man. It was the same shit. Every fucking shot was like tough. Like Brown and Tatum were making tough, stupid ass throwing up 50 shots a game, but they were making them.
Punish people. You got to have counters.
Yeah, you got to do something else.
And I think
you can't just run.
It's like they're like, you know what? Hayward left, and we're counting on Romeo Langford to play major minutes, but it's fine because Jason Tatum is going to be one of the greatest players of all time, and him and Jaylen Brown are going to take this next step this year. And that's all well and good in theory, but that's not usually how stuff happens, is that people just keep taking steps and steps and steps.
Yeah, maybe they're just going to be what they are. You never know. I mean, I think Tatum is a good player, yeah. And I think Brown's a good player, yeah, but if Kemba Walker isn't the same, he's been having real bad knee problems like in the past year, I can't see both of those young dudes taking Boston, super far. And by having them at the 5 seed, in which you do, I think you think the same thing I'm thinking. They're not going to be that good.
Well, this is another team. This is my internal Hawks bias. But I look at the Raptors, I look at the Celtics. I'm like, the Hawks could be better than both these teams. Like, I look at their bench. Their best non-starter wings: Semi Ojeleye, Romeo Langford, Grant Williams. They don't have a single decent backup wing on their entire roster.
Yeah.
And so that's super concerning.
Yeah.
If you're going to be –
So, the only saving grace I would say, and the last thing I'll probably say about the Celtics because I don't really care too much. They're not exciting. Brad Stevens, he gets the best out of, not great players. You know what I'm saying? Like, dudes that are – not good, like average or like above average. He gets the very best out of those motherfuckers. And there's a whole lot on the Celtics. And he gets the very best out of all of those dudes.
This might be the best mix for him because he doesn't have a superstar that's going to be like Kyrie is like, actually, I don't know if we should do this, coach. Like, how about you just give me the ball, whatever. He probably is the most respected voice in that locker room between all the veterans and everyone. So this might be the Brad Stevens year where we see.
It might be, man. So that's the only thing I think.
But either way, them and the Raptors are in the same box as two really coached teams with good starting fives and shaky benches. But they're going to try to get past on their shaky bench with excellent coaching. My last note on here about the Boston Celtics, could finish lower.
They could. I don't know. We'll see.
Number 4.
Top 4.
From Boston to Brooklyn. We're headed to the Kyrie bandwagon, homie. They got Kyrie Irving. They got Kevin Durant. They got 15 head coaches, none of which are the head coach. They got Kyrie Irving burning sage on the court pregame, refusing to interact with peons. Or is that what he said? Pawns?
Pawns.
I don't deal with pawns. I have a minor in journalism from UNCC. I have a major in communications. I went to school for 10 years to become a pawn. Thanks, Kyrie.
He's a fucking idiot, man. But keep going. Keep going.
So they got 2 head coaches on their staff.
Yep.
Mike D'Antoni and Jacques Vaughn. You thought I was going to say Steve Nash. He's never been a head coach before. He won't be a head coach until they play a game. Jacques Vaughn was a head coach for Orlando 2 years ago.
So realistically, we did watch the Nets game last night, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Awesome. It's preseason. The 2 guys look good.
Kyrie, no. That was a game. That was the official start of the NBA season. December 22nd, bro.
Oh, yeah. Whatever. I don't care, man. I really don't. Like, they won by 40, and it meant nothing to me. I watched the first half. You know,
Nets Golden State.
Yeah, everyone's getting their sea legs on them. This is the first competitive game you played forever. You remember?
You just say the Boston Celtics? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
The Nets played the Warriors last night.
Competitive game since in the bubble.
Oh, the Nets? Oh, yeah. Kevin Durant hasn't played basketball in 581 days. That's fucking crazy.
Last year, remember when the Kings started off like fucking 8-2, and everyone was like, "Oh, the Kings!" No. This is the beginning of this season. Crazy shit happens sometimes. Things will always find a way to figure themselves out.
Hey, look, Kevin Durant looked pretty good last night, and he's looked pretty good in the preseason. Kyrie looked amazing last night as well, dude. But the thing that I want to say about watching their games, and it's only one game. They dominated the Warriors. But every single shot was a tough-ass shot. Like, their offense was kindergarten, first grade level type offense. They did, like, the plays they were running were elementary. I didn't get what the fuck they were doing. KD, he started off kind of fresh, but then he kind of dwindled down because every shot was tough as hell. They weren't running actions off the ball. Like, it was just basically off a bunch of fast break bullshit. They were pulling up a bunch of threes. I was like, I can't see this continuing to be, like, this good. They were just hitting a bunch of shots.
For winning all these games. That's not the model.
Yeah.
It's going to keep working.
Hell no. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. 4 is a good spot for them, I think. Because they don't need to be a number 1.
They got a ton of talent. And when we talk about the NBA, one thing that I always heard as a young player is what separates the college level from the NBA level is the ability to create your own shot. And make your own shot. And they have a ton of guys who are good at that. They got 4 really elite or very good shot creators in LeVert, Dinwiddie, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And then the spacing around them is tremendous as well. Taurean Prince is a good shooter. Joe Harris is a good shooter. You know, up and down their bench. Jared Allen is coming off their bench as he could be starting for 20 teams in the league. You know what I mean?
Not true. He's a really good player.
The problem is, and they got your boy, who's going to be playing backup 4 for them, Jeff Green.
Oh, hey, he's a hooper. Stop playing. Don't fuck with me. He's back with his boy D'Antoni. Hey, look, after he played last year, he was like, I'm following D'Antoni wherever he goes.
Right. So this is the thing, right? They have all these guys, pretty decent bench when you look at it, surrounding talent guys who create their own shot. Problem is there's only one basketball, and all these dudes are good at having it in their hands. This isn't like Houston, where they surrounded James Harden with a bunch of like hard-nosed, tough, team-first guys. You surrounded Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, two of the most temperamental players in the league who will alienate their teammates, create media controversies. They're not cognizant of people around them or people's needs around them. So you think these guys are going to be going – you know how old it's going to get for all these guys on the bench watching the Kyrie and Kevin show fucking 40 games into the season? And Karis LeVert was like, I was taking 17 shots a game last year.
Yeah. Hey, Karis LeVert got his little beak wet. He's like, I like shooting these shots. Let me get that ball back. Who the fuck is KD anyways? He hasn't played basketball in 2 years.
And then they're like, you want to be frying ketchup and Pelican oil when I'm done with you.
Definitely, bro. Hey, like I said, just watching all the preseason games and shit, their offense looked kind of stupid. Not a lot of ball movement. A bunch of tough-ass shots, so we'll see how that lasts. But that being said, Kyrie and KD are definitely, top 5 tough shot makers. But at the end of the day, seeing that offense, it reminded me, and this is why KD struggled last night. This motherfucker went like 6 for 17 or some shit like that, right? It reminded me of when he used to play with Russell Westbrook. You would see Kyrie do some shake and bake shit, bop, bop, get some points. You see him pick and roll, then he'll kick it out to KD. KD would do the same shit, one-on-one dribbling. Bing, 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 shot. Somebody's in his face. He's missing. Now, you could say, oh, KD's out of rhythm. He hasn't played in a while. Fuck that. You got to give him action and shit. He's only been, like, phenomenal. 1 year at OKC was phenomenal. And then, like, before, he was great, but they were all tough-ass shots. In Golden State, they're running the offense. If you can get some sort of system going down, I can believe the Nets can win the championship. But if you're going to do that same shit that I just saw last night, no fucking way. Your conference finals bounce, or maybe second round.
Kevin Durant said, I do have an offense system for you. It's called a hezzy pull-up from 3. All day. Going left, all day. So you got concerns about their offense. I got concerns about their defense. Now, the saving grace might be that Mike D'Antoni is not actually the head coach.
True that.
It might be actually the saving grace because we all know we should start calling him Mike Antoni. He doesn't care about D. He hasn't taught D. He hasn't preached D. And none of his teams have played D in the past couple seasons, with the exception of the super switching Hardenettes in the Houston Pocket Rockets.
Oh, yeah. They're horrible.
When you look up and down the Nets roster, you don't see good defenders. Jared Allen might be the best defender on the team. Or Kevin Durant coming off an Achilles.
Yeah,
that's not good. That's not
good. And even like, go ahead, keep going. My bad.
They don't have a dude on their whole team who's not even an average defensive player, or not even a good defensive player, an average defensive player.
No, that's true. But the biggest question.
Up and down, I'm like, is this Washington, New York?
I don't know, man. The biggest question is, well, first of all, don't ever say that again. Don't you fuck with me like that. They're not going to take over New York. We know this. Nobody cares. They can suck a dick. Knicks are the number 1 team in the city. Second.
Is that why they finished second to last in these shows?
Nah. The gloomy question is what we're missing. Are they going to trade those guys for James Harden or not? How long are we going to be talking about that shit? You know what I'm saying? Now, you know they're going to be talking about that shit every day. They were just talking about it yesterday. Like, are they going to make the trade? That's you. If you don't make that trade, then I think your team will be fine.
I tell you what,
but you got to do something. You got to make a decision quick.
I think if there's any team that's prepared to handle the media circus about this, it's the Nets. And what I mean about this is this. If it wasn't the James Harden stuff, it would be something else.
It's just going to be a circus.
Kevin Durant are going to cause a controversy constantly the whole season, regardless if James Harden is playing on Pluto.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So
the thing with Kyrie makes no sense to me. Like, he wins a championship, hits the shot, but everybody's like, look, LeBron's a top 5 player. He made one of the greatest plays. Like, that block was crazy. We get that you made the shot, but it's LeBron, bro. Like, you can't sit behind LeBron. I don't see him sit behind anyone. I don't even think he can sit behind Jordan. The only person I think he wouldn't shut the fuck up for anyone.
Let's get right to the crux of it. Why Kyrie won't sit behind Jordan, why he won't sit behind LeBron. Because Kyrie Irving does not think of himself as a basketball player. Kyrie Irving thinks of himself as a kinesiology artist who manipulates space-time, angles, velocity, force, and his own body to produce glorious, spontaneous, impromptu art onto a basketball court. That's why he'll never sit behind Michael Jordan. Because he doesn't want to be Michael Jordan. He wants to be Michelangelo.
So you're going to sit there, and you're going to look me in my eyes, and you're going to tell me I throw Play-Doh on the wall, and I'm supposed to call you fucking Picasso? I'm supposed to call you Picasso. You fucking take Play-Doh from a kid. You took it from him. You're like, this is my fucking Play-Doh, you piece of shit. And he throws it on the wall. He's like, bitch, I'm Picasso. I'm an artiste. He starts speaking French, and we're just looking at him like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? How are we pawns?
I think he said
Kyrie Irving.
I think he said prawns, bro. You know how black people love seafood? Prawns.
Jesus. Nah, hell no. Kyrie is a crazy person, man. I mean, he's interesting, but he's a weird cat. It is what it is.
This is why it's important. Everyone who's watching this video, go back and finish school. Don't do like Kyrie and leave after 1 year and don't go back and get your degree. It's very important that y'all finish school. Because the next thing you know, you're going to be burning sage on top of a hardwood laminated floor.
Oh, yeah. Honest to God, like, you have these unanswered questions, but if you graduate school, the questions are fucking answered. You don't have any unanswered questions.
No, Kyrie, it's not. Does
the
NBA revolve around me? Who the fuck are you?
No, it doesn't.
No. Oh, man.
All right, let's move on. They'll be the most interesting team this year, though, honestly. It's going to be interesting to watch.
That's my last note. Highest variance of any team. They could be the best team in the East. They could represent the East in the finals. And they could also flame out in the second round or the first round even.
Yeah. Key thing for the Nets is let's see them after a losing streak. I want to see them after a losing streak. If you can handle it, then I'll rock with you. If not, we know it's going to go down. Tank.
Yeah. Fortunately for Nets, the other key question is this. Who can guard Kevin Durant? And the answer is pretty much nobody.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, number 3. I have the Philadelphia 76ers.
Ooh.
Ben Franklin out here crossing people up from the logo.
Yes, sir.
They remade their backcourt, but it wasn't with Ben Franklin with the basketball on the string. It was with Danny Green, Seth Curry, not Steph, and Tyrone Maxey, who they picked up in the draft, was a little Lou Will type player. Yeah. They immediately add shooting in 2 starting positions and address their biggest weakness of the last 3 seasons.
Yeah. I just don't understand Elton Brand, bro. What the hell is wrong with him? He's an idiot. If you have one of the worst shooters of all time, wouldn't it make sense to surround him with some of the best shooters of all time? That's an easy equation, is it not?
Yeah, you'd think so. If you have a minus 30 on one thing, you should probably have a plus in the other position to make up.
Just to balance it out. I mean, god damn. Yo,
I'll tell you what happened, Terry. You know where Elton Brand was right before the Sixers hired him to be their president of basketball operations?
Where was he?
He's with the Atlanta Hawks. And you know what he was doing there?
What was he doing?
He was watching Dwight Howard miss alley-oops from Dennis Schroeder in the playoffs. And he watched that, and he was like, you know what? These guys might have something going on down here. And you know who they re-signed this off, or who they signed this offseason?
Who?
Dwight Howard.
Ah, no. Fucking idiots. He's washed. He only plays well with LeBron. That's it. Mark my words.
I can't wait to see this.
Oh, yeah.
Dwight Howard, the veteran mentor, who's going to teach Joel Embiid the way. Joel Embiid is going to be like sick of hearing Dwight Howard's motivational speeches, advice. Like, he's going to be done with that preseason game -1.
Dwight Howard's advice is like, oh, you want to fuck Rihanna? Just fuck her. Like, what the fuck? What's the problem?
Well, fuck Rihanna. There are tons of bitches on Craigslist with a dick that looks just like her if you close your eyes and you open your mouth.
Rihanna. What's the difference? Like, go fuck a bitch. He's like, yo, Dwight Howard's like, here's the thing you got to do. You get a pack of condoms and you poke a hole through all of them. That way, the semen doesn't leave it. I'm telling you, it's science. It's gravity. The semen goes out and not in. I'm telling you, Joel.
Dwight Howard is like, well, I don't know if you've ever been in a sleeper hole before, but when you wake up, your anus really hurts.
Oh, shit. All jokes aside, Dwight Howard's an idiot. But I'm really excited to see the Sixers, bro. Doc, a.k.a. Glenn Rivers, I'm really excited to see what he's going to do with these two guys, bro. I purposely did not watch any of their preseason games because I just want to see, like, what the fuck's going to – like, I just want to have a fresh look and see what they're going to do differently.
Is that why you read my articles?
Motherfucker, I read the last one. You fucking pussy. Don't call me out like that.
I got. See, I didn't watch the preseason game, so you're full of shit. I didn't watch the preseason game because I was shampooing my 7 dogs in Virginia. That's why I didn't watch the preseason game.
Yeah, right. I got 3 dogs.
This is what I think about the Sixers, and this is what you were saying about the Nets. That they start off, you could see the potential for it being awesome, and this solves all the issues. Or they start off and they suck and it's shitty, and halfway through the season, you call Puce and you go, "Hey, Ben Simmons, you want him or not?" And now you throw Harden into the mix. So you really get like 2 bites of the apple here with 2 legitimate roster creations. You get your shooting one with Ben and Joe. If it doesn't work, fuck it. You're first in line for Harden anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I'd take Ben Simmons or Harden. Fuck it. But I like the acquisition of Steph Curry. That's probably, if not the best acquisition this year, it's up there. It's like top 5, definitely. Like, that's a good acquisition. Yeah. He shot 3%, 44% from 3 last year, something like that.
Nearly 46.
I mean, he's a shooter. So that's definitely that's a great acquisition for them. Defensively, we know they're great. Offensively, there's a few questions, but they added a couple of shooters, so it'll spread out the court a little bit. It's just what are we gonna do with Doc and Glenn?
Yeah. The question
What's
is,
he gonna do?
What is Doc gonna do with Dwight? Right? This is going to be the biggest challenge of Glenn Rivers coaching.
No.
Handling Dwight Howard.
Ever asked that. Nobody asked that question. Nobody's ever asked that question. It's going to be fine, man. Dwight's going to be all right, man.
Yo, Dwight probably hopes that Doc handles him pretty firmly is what I'd be about. Like, I haven't been handled like this since I was perusing Craigslist in Atlanta.
Yo, look. I will say this, right? That's fucked. That's hilarious, though, but that's kind of fucked. I will say this. Joel and Dwight are 2 goofy fucks, but Dwight Howard actually, like, works out hard as shit, like, in the gym. He's never, like, out of shape and shit. He might give Joel Embiid, like, a little work ethic. Even though they're silly as shit, he might teach him how to.
He's another one of these guys. He did all that shit, but then what does he do? He eats a bag of Starbursts that's as big as a pillowcase before he goes to dinner. Joel Embiid used to be on a Shirley Temple IV at the beginning of his career.
Yeah.
The last
thing he
do is meeting up with Mr. Sweet Tooth himself, and he has a travel bag of candy to take with him on the planes that you could. Yeah. Brenda's baby wouldn't fit in his bag, and 700 Laffy Taffy.
Yeah. Hey, look. Only thing I can say is I'm excited to see what the Sixers are going to do, but once again, condensed NBA season. They said maybe less travel, but those guys are injury prone, and we know what happens when you make less days for games. Guys who are injury prone don't get less injury prone. They stay fucking hurt. So
Oh,
that's
man.
all you got to worry about.
Terry, I am so happy you brought up that point. It's a perfect transition to our next team. Oh, no, never mind.
Number two.
Motherfuckers. It's like the third time I got the numbers mixed up.
Number 2.
All right. Well, in that case, it was a horrible transition. And leave the transitions to me, Terry. Number 2 on my list, falling from grace after being in the NBA Finals for the Miami Heat. They
Number 2.
Myers-Leonard. They add Precious Achua, Avery Bradley, and Mo Harkless. All of these people are people who can play in the playoffs.
Yeah, those are great acquisitions.
All those guys can play in the playoffs. My thing is, who's playing point guard for the second unit? And if Goran goes down, who plays point guard, period, in the traditional sense of a pure point guard who's looking to get his teammates involved?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they might have Jimmy Butler dribble a lot of the basketball, you know?
I think that's what they'd have to do is go him
Yeah.
and then after that.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing that concerns me is Jimmy Butler is the second best passer on their team. Well, maybe Adebayo, but he can't play a guard position.
Yeah, no. Now, he's not going to be taking the ball off the court like that. I mean, he has the ability to do it. And they give him the free range, you know, to do pretty much almost whatever he wants, but he's not going to do that a lot.
Well, we'll see more of it, but it's just different. Like when Dragic is running pick and roll with Bam, everyone on the court is a threat. When Kendrick Nunn or Tyler Hero are running it, it's Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Hero, or Bam are the only 3 people you really got to worry about.
Yeah, pretty much.
They don't have that nuance in the pick and roll where they're going to like do that hesitation to make you over rotate and then hit the guy like above the break.
Yeah.
They don't understand the nuance of the pick and roll game. And that's something I think could hurt them. I do think that making the finals counts for something. And that's real. With their young core, regardless of bubble, whatever, these dudes, I think, found something within themselves and each other.
Yeah.
A belief that they can really do it at the biggest moment against the biggest teams, against anybody. And even though they may not be as talented as the Nets and other teams like that, I think that foxhole mentality, the understanding of roles and selflessness, where guys on the team are willing to sacrifice if it's for the greater good, I think all that counts for a lot more than individual talent. And that's why I'm putting them all the way up at number 2.
Well, when you're wrong.
It damn sure ain't on this podcast.
Here's the thing, man. First of all, I disagree. I love Miami. And I told a lot of people, and even you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just muted you real quick. Oh, my bad, man.
You're an idiot, man. But nah, like
you were going on about nothing.
It's just two different. Nah, it's 2 different types of basketball, bro. Regular season and playoffs. Miami is a tough ass team. They're not 4-5 seed, and then tough it out and make good upsets in the playoffs. It's just different types of basketball that they play. They ain't not a pretty basketball team, bro. They're not going to be great in the regular season. I don't see them getting like to a 2 seed. I just don't see that shit at all.
They have shooting all over. And then their biggest question mark this whole offseason is backup bigs. And they add.
I mean, they sort of. Yeah.
Fit with them.
Yeah. I mean, they sort of do. But
they got the backbones. As long in the regular season, if you have shooting, coaching, defense, and ball handling, you're going to win a lot of games. And I
hear you.
They got all 4 of those.
There's also one thing you're forgetting, though. They only had 71 days to prepare for the season. So, they're going to be a little tired. It's going to be the same boat as the Lakers. They have they have younger guys than the Lakers do, but it's in the same boat. Your body is still going to be tired. And I don't think you should try to push it, to get, a top seed in the East. You know that your team is good. You can kind of coast through the regular season and then do sort of the same thing that you did last year. And I think it'll be fine.
I agree with you, but I would more if they had won.
I hear
right?
you. I
If they
hear
had
you.
won, then like we know we got it in us, and like we can just flip the switch and turn it on. But they
Yeah.
didn't win, and they didn't turn it on, and they got waxed. With the
Yeah. I
exception
hear
of
you.
Jimmy Butler, having an all-time amazing finals performance. They looked over. So that's kind of like the Clippers last year, right? They had this we can just turn on at any time attitude just because we're so talented. But it's like you guys never won shit, and you haven't won
Yeah.
shit together. So you got
Yeah.
to
I hear you.
habits throughout the season so that when it comes playoff time, it's second nature.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you.
Speaking of
I don't know.
habits in the regular season, that come playoff time, they become second nature. I'd like to talk about the number one team, which is the Milwaukee Bucks.
Number one.
When I talk about doing things in the regular season that become habit in the playoffs, it starts number one with the Bucks. They got to play Giannis more in the regular season. You cannot expect this guy to play 32 minutes a game at most during a regular season because they're blowing everyone out. And then you get in the postseason and expect him to play 44, 46. He looks gassed. He was completely beat. And the Bucks PR staff / like front office put out this whole protect Giannis rhetoric. Talking about, the reason we play him in spurts is because he just plays so hard. And Giannis menaces are twice as taxing as everyone else's because he just plays so hard and he gets so much done with menaces on the court. No, I'm not buying it. This is the most athletic player we've ever seen in NBA history. In the midst of his prime, he's 25 years old. You're telling me this guy can't play basketball for 40 minutes?
No, you can't.
If that's going to be the number one determinant thing, it's not all the pieces around Giannis. It's Giannis. Is he going to be his best at the end of the game after he's played 40 minutes? I don't know. The only way to find that out is maybe try it once during the regular season.
Yeah. Here's the thing about Milwaukee, bro. I'm down on them this year, son. I'm down on them this year. And this is the reason. Giannis has to be fucking super duper human again. He lost a decent amount of like the guys that he had good camaraderie with. Unless he averages like 34 and 13 this year, like his averages keep going up. You know what I'm saying? I don't see them being the number one seed. There's always a chip on his back, but you lost a great shooter in George Hill. Eric Bledsoe's an idiot. We get it. You get Drew Holiday. But you gave up 2 ball handlers to get 1 ball handler. Now you're going to play DiVincenzo more.
They got DJ Augustine.
DJ's okay. He's not great, but
he's better.
I don't know, man. You think he's better than Drew Bledsoe?
He's better than George Hill. I'd rather have Drew Holiday and what's his face, the dude who they just picked up from Orlando that we were just talking about.
Oh, DJ Augustine.
I'd rather have Drew Holiday and DJ Augustine.
But you lose a lot. You lose a lot more. You lose a lot more defensively, though.
No, you don't.
Augustine. DJ Augustine's not a good defender.
But overall, that you still are better defensively because Drew Holiday is one of the 3 best defensive guards in the league.
He can't play 40 minutes a game.
Why not?
You gonna drain this dude the whole season?
We're gonna get all 3 of them used to playing in the postseason. Chris Middleton and Giannis, y'all are not coming out. Get winded, get fatigued, then get through it.
So they still got Brook Lopez?
Yeah, they still got Brook Lopez. Listen, man, it's not that I'm expecting Holiday to play 40 minutes. I think they have fine guards. DiVincenzo is an excellent guard off the bench.
He's fine. That's it.
Off the bench? He could be a
He's
top
okay.
Dude, if his shot comes around, he'll be a top 10 shooting guard in the league. This year.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't believe.
He could be. All that's missing is the shot. He's got everything else.
Yeah.
He's just got to get the shot.
You got the same bench as last year? And you just added DJ Augustine?
No, they added a lot of shooting. So they added Blake Forbes, they added Torrey Craig, and they added in the draft Sam Merrill, who was like the best shooter in the draft. So they add 5 shooters, but they lost 1.
And we know Budenholzer is a good regular season coach.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it goes. If they're gonna do the same shit again, is Giannis gonna win the MVP again? I don't think he's gonna win the MVP. Like, I think that shit's good.
Twice in a row, voter fatigue. Unless he averages 37 points a game, they're not giving.
If he gets about 34, I bet they give it to his ass.
Yeah, because he'll get the 10 and 8. Otherwise, 11.
But nah, we don't give a shit about the regular season. I could say they probably are gonna be top 1 or top 2 seed. Yeah, I didn't think the team like drastically improved. I think they're around the same. They're still really good.
I do too.
Just say it's the same old story. What are you gonna do in the playoffs? You got to switch it up. How did Giannis improve his game? I really want to see it. Give me a post game. Give me something. Give me some different looks. It can't be the same shit. Giannis has to be on a pick more. Giannis has to run around screens more. He can't be handling the ball at the top, and everybody's like, all right, Giannis, we know what you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? He's not dynastic like James Harden is.
I agree with you 100%, except in the last part where you're like, he's not dynastic or dynamic or whatever you said.
Yeah.
There's no more Giannis shooting threes. That experiment is over. You don't want to shoot another three unless you're wide open and it's the end of the fucking game. You're not shooting another three. It's over. We tried it. You are now more athletic, mobile Shaq.
I like it.
That's your role. And you're not going to get outside of this. The problem is he always has the ball in his hands. He's always the guy who's doing the dribbling when they run a pick and roll. He's never the roller in the pick and roll. And the problem with that is because they didn't have anyone on their team besides Chris Middleton who could hit a three off the dribble after they've hit the pick and roll. So you go underneath, you go way under on both of them. What do you think, Eric Bledsoe is going to step up and take this pull-up off the dribble three? Go ahead, asshole.
Yeah, and that was the problem. He was pulling it.
Yeah. So
he was missing it.
Out on Bogdanovich in free agency, who would have exactly filled that hole. If anything, the most notable acquisition they have regarding that would be DJ Augustine.
Yeah.
Who's a dude?
He's a beast.
Yeah, who you could see him running a pick and roll with Giannis on the other end. But I think what you bring up about Giannis in the post is especially salient. And that it's not about the guys around you, bro.
No.
If you can't go in the post and get a bucket, because this is where your game is going. Your game is not take me out on the perimeter. If you want to be the best version of Giannis, you got to punch on the post and around the rim because that's what you're doing best at. Now, is that developing a hook shot? Maybe. Does it mean developing a face-up game? Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's the most terrorizing post face-up game in the entire – and it shouldn't be close. Yeah. If he gets the ball to post, faces up, don't even face up regularly. Do the Sigma move and back up to face up so you get another foot of space so you get a runway. Right? Now, 2 dribbles, you're at the rim no matter what. No matter what you do. So – if he took that's ultimately going to be the question with the Bucks. Did Giannis take another step?
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's not about Drew Holiday. It's not about George Hill. It's not about Mike Budenholzer. It's about Giannis and Antetokounmpo.
Pretty much.
The next level.
And then the thing is, we can kind of end it on this. It's not about like changing your game in ways where the league is changing. If you're not that type of player, do different shit. You're the reason why your team is losing the games. You're in the rare air of star MVP type players that have higher numbers in the regular season and lower numbers in the playoffs. It's usually the opposite. If you're going to be a top 50 type player, it's the opposite. Regular season numbers are great, but your playoff numbers are way better. And right now, Giannis, you're the opposite of that. And we need that shit to flip-flop real quick. Or you're going to see a lot of fans be like, hey, Giannis is on some James Harden shit. We don't give a fuck about him.
I'll tell you what. If I had to bet, I'd say that he figures it out. And that he does add this stuff to the game, and he does become a top 10 all-time player. If I had to bet mine, I would say he does. He works like none other, and he's humble. He's not one of these guys that's like, or at least I don't know, but he doesn't appear to be like one of these guys that if you like come to him, they're like, hey, man, this offseason, you got to work on pivoting off your side foot and finishing through contact with your offhand. He's not going to be like Kyrie Irving that's like, well, first of all, you don't even understand the context of jumping and finishing off with the offhand. See, if I put the centrifugal force on the basketball with the outside of my left index peripheral knuckle, like Giannis would be like, all right, let me work on it. So let's see what he worked on.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm just glad he signed that extension with Milwaukee, man. It's really good. I like parity, bro. I don't like teams. Yeah. I don't like super teams. I like this parody shit.
I loved his answer to would you play with Damian Lillard or I forgot who the other star was that they asked all stars in the league, and he goes, yeah, when they come to Milwaukee.
That's exactly what you want to hear, man.
I like it. Well, I'll tell you what, your analysis, your breakdowns, your hilarious sense of humor was just what I needed to hear today.
All right, man.
It's
glad to hear it.
Exceptional and rewarding experience doing this with you. And I'll see you before the new year.
Yeah. Hopefully. Hey, we got to so when we want to do the East one, we'll mark it up.
Sunday? Can you do
probably in the West one. Yeah, we could probably do Sunday. We'll see how it goes.
Then Monday,
I'll let you know.
I heard it here first. Check back here Monday for our Western Conference preview.
And once again,
go to
thank
our
you for
website.
stepping across the line. Thank you. No, go ahead.
Check out our shit at www.thehlspod.com. And what, Terry?
Thank you for stepping across the line with us. See you next week.
I'm out.
Thank you for listening to our podcast this evening. Thank you. You're far too kind.